Part of that should be like our show theme. We feel damn sorry for the world. We put this out we feel damn sorry for the world putting this out every week. I kid, of course. A segment in this next segment, I do want to talk about um, something I found online when preparing for today's show. And this comes to us from athletesunheard.com. And I'm just kind of going through and looking for ways that we can talk about getting comfortable with failure. And there are three things listed that athletes can take away from failure. And we'll start first. The three things: resilience and toughness, reassessment and feedback, and a pathway to success. We'll start with the first one: resilience and toughness, how failure can provide that resilience and toughness for an athlete going forward.
Sure. And I think that's a great outline and a great definite or kind of segment to say, hey, there is a path of dealing with failure. It's not just this burden. But I think, there is something to saying it's good to do things that are hard. It's good to put yourself in positions of, hey, I'm going to go try to maybe, after I've trained for a while, maybe max out this lift and under correct supervision and all that, because even though that's hard, there's a chance of failure. The pursuit of that effort in doing something hard is what matters. And when you set yourself up in positions of doing something difficult, doing something that you're failing at, when you do fail over and over again at something, there's so much value that comes out of that. And I think, that's something people really fear. People think like, hey, success is just doing great all the time, but it's really failing a heck of a lot more than it is succeeding.
Right. Taking that mindset of, hey, maybe not so much I failed, but learning from those type of mistakes that you made. I mean, because I don't know, I guess failure happens all the time, even when you're in the cage. If you have a goal, for example, to hit 10 line drives back up the middle before you move to the next phase of your training. I was just talking about this with Jake last week on the Lab Epstein Hitting podcast. If you fail at that, you can't move on to the next goal. But you don't always look at it as failure. You say, oh, well, you didn't hit the 10 line drives. Now let's start over, reset, and let's try to hit those 10 line drives right back up the middle from the length of the cage.
Sure. And I think we've talked about this in previous episodes is it really failure if we are learning from it? Is it really failure if we reposition it to something that can really benefit us? It's essentially like, we sought out to do something and now we're having a hard time accomplishing it. And that's a good thing. That means it's hard and that means it's worth our while. And then us as coaches and parents, we need to decide, okay, what is too far out of reach where it becomes impossible for the athlete and we discourage the athlete, right? That learned failure that, becomes an issue, or where can we find the sweet spot of making something challenging and difficult and uncomfortable to achieve, but it's not so easy that they're achieving it all the time.